The red dust of Kepler 442b swirled around Nyla's boots as she stood at the entrance of Mining Complex 7, her helmet's heads up. Display flickered with radiation warnings, each one more urgent than the last. Behind her, the settlement's biodomes glinted in the pale light of the system's K-type star. "Nyla, this is insane," Brian's voice crackled through her comlink. He was monitoring from the settlement's command center, 2 kilometers away. "The structural integrity scans show those tunnels could collapse any second. The seismic activity alone." "I know what the scans show," Nyla interrupted, adjusting the oxygen recycler on her exosuit. "But the thermal signatures don't lie. There's something alive down there, and it's getting weaker. 3 days ago, the automated mining drones had detected unusual biosignatures deep in the abandoned sections of Complex 7. The mine had been sealed 15 years earlier when a pocket of compressed methane had killed 6 miners and rendered the entire network unstable. Since then, the tunnels had become a forbidden zone, slowly filling with toxic gases and cave-ins. Brian sighed, a sound of resignation Nyla knew well. They'd been partners on this terraforming survey mission for 18 months, long enough for him to recognize when she'd made up her mind. "At least let me talk you through the safe routes. I'm pulling up the old mine schematics now." Nyla activated her helmet lamp and stepped into the darkness. The tunnel's walls were lined with exposed veins of crystalline minerals that caught her light and threw it back in fragmented rainbows. Beautiful and deadly, the crystals indicated high concentrations of heavy metals that could poison her if her suit's filtration system failed. "Take the left fork at marker 23, Brian guided. "That'll keep you away from the methane pocket. Your suit's sensors will alert you if atmospheric composition changes." The temperature dropped as she descended. Nyla's breath formed small clouds of condensation inside her helmet despite the heating elements. The biosignature readings grew stronger, definitely mammalian, definitely multiple organisms. "Brian, I'm picking up vocalizations. Audio spectrum suggests juvenile distress calls." There was a pause. "That's impossible. We cataloged every species on this planet. Nothing larger than those arthropod analogs we found near the ice caps. Well, something's down here, and it's scared." The tunnel narrowed, forcing Nyla to crouch. Her suit's structural supports whined under the strain, compensating for the awkward position. Then she saw them dot in a small alcove, huddled against the far wall, with 3 creatures unlike anything in the planetary database. They were roughly the size of earth foxes, covered in thick, dust-colored fur that seemed to shimmer with bioluminescent patches. Their eyes, 6 per creature, arranged in 2 rows, reflected her helmet lamp with an eerie green glow. And they were crying. The sound was unmistakable. Not the ultrasonic squeaks of the local fauna, but genuine, mournful crying that resonated with something primal in Nyla's chest. "I found them," she whispered. "Brian, there. They look like cubs. Young ones." "Impossible," Brian repeated, but his voice carried less certainty now. "Unless ... Unless what?" "The geological surveys from before the mine closed. There were anomalies, pockets of warmer temperature deep underground. If there's a geothermal system we didn't know about, there could be an entire subterranean ecosystem." Nyla approached slowly, extending her gloved hand. The cubs shrank back, their bioluminescent patches flaring bright, then dim in what might have been a fear response. One of them, the smallest, had a damaged foreleg, bent at an unnatural angle. "Their mother must have been caught in one of the cave-ins," Nyla said softly. "These 3 got separated from the rest of their pack? Colony?" "Nyla, your oxygen is at 47%. You need to start heading back." She looked at the 3 small creatures, at their dust-covered fur and tear-stained faces, at the injured one trying to hide behind its siblings. The decision wasn't really a decision at all. "I'm bringing them with me." "That's a terrible idea for about 17 different scientific and safety reasons. Log it as a biological recovery mission. These are the first evidence of complex subterranean life." "They're coming with me, Brian." Getting them into her specimen carrier was easier than expected. Once the smallest cub, the injured one, allowed her to gently lift it, the other two followed. They seemed to understand she was trying to help. Or perhaps they simply had no other choice. The climb back was harder. The extra weight threw off her balance, and twice she nearly stumbled on the loose scree. The cubs whimpered and cried throughout, their sounds echoing off the tunnel walls like a mournful chorus. Seismic activity increasing, Brian warned. You need to move faster. Nyla pushed her suit's servos to maximum assist, practically running through the final stretch as the tunnel began to shake. Dust rained from the ceiling, and somewhere behind her, she heard the rumble of collapse. She burst out of the mine entrance. Just as a section of the tunnel gave way with a thunderous crash, Nyla stumbled forward, dropped to her knees, and carefully opened the specimen carrier. The three cubs blinked in the pale starlight, their eyes adjusting to brightness they'd never known. Their fur was matted with dust, their faces streaked with the paths their tears had carved. Brian's rover appeared on the horizon. Racing toward her position, through her helmet's external speakers, Nyla spoke to the creatures. You're safe now. I promise. The smallest one, the injured cub, made a soft, chirping sound and pressed its head against her gloved palm. Sometimes, Nyla thought, the greatest discoveries weren't found in data or scans. Sometimes they were found in the simple act of not looking away from suffering, of walking into the darkness and carrying life back into the light. As Brian's rover approached, the cubs huddled close to her, three small, dust-covered lives that would change everything they thought they knew about Kepler-442b. And in the distance, deep beneath the surface, something else stirred. The mother and the colony, following the scent of their lost young, beginning their own journey toward the surface, and the strange creatures who had shown mercy to their cubs. End.